Welcome to the Minority Business Report, where we talk about positive things that are happening in Anne Arundel County. I am Joanne Jackson, Anne Arundel County Minority Business Enterprise Coordinator. My guests today are Thomas Skeeter and Donald Graves, co-owners of Pridestaff in Odenton. We're delighted to have you on our show.
Thank you for having us.
Great to be here.
But before we get started, could you tell our viewing audience a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and what it is that you do?
Well, good morning again, and thank you for having us.
Yeah,
We
I'm
really
glad to have you
appreciate
with
it.
us.
Thank you. I'm from the Bronx originally, but my family, we've been down here for a long time. We started out my wife and children went to the University of Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
I have 6 grandchildren, and my grandson, the oldest one, is a starting guard for the University of Maryland.
What's his name?
Anthony Cowan, and
Oh,
he'll be
okay.
number 1 this year.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So, and Donna and I have known each other for like 8 years or so.
Close to 10.
Close to. Right, but who's counting?
Yeah.
And we decided to start this business after we used to work together.
Right.
And we just sat and talked, and we started talking about businesses, and we started talking about having a brick and mortar business, and that's
Okay.
where
And
we
where
started.
do you live?
I live in Bowie.
Mm-hmm.
Don lives in Ricestown.
Okay.
Hi.
Don.
Don Graves. Let's see, I've been in the IT field since over 2 decades. Won't give the year, show how old I am. But I'm married. I have a wife and 2 kids, Donald and Olivia, and 1 grandson, Jaden. And I actually didn't tell you I have another grandchild on the way. Should be here in March.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. We have another business, an IT business, small IT business, and we talked about starting this brick and mortar, not only to help ourselves, but to help the community as well.
Okay, we can talk about that later in the show. I'd like
Mm-hmm.
to hear a little bit about that. You guys are seasoned professional, especially Mr. Skeeter and I had this long conversation. He's a serial entrepreneur, but unfortunately I didn't get a chance to talk to you, Don, at any length. So can you tell us a little bit more about your background and those experiences that helped to prepare you for this new venture called Pridestaff?
Okay, I'm going back to my beginning. Started in the IT business back in 1988. Worked in both commercial and government endeavors. And like Tom said, we worked together for about 4 years, and we talked back and forth off and on about starting a brick and mortar business. We initially started an IT business, and that was successful. And
Tell me a little bit about that.
we have Veritech Enterprises. It's an IT business that does cybersecurity infrastructure, and we do installations as well. You can go to www.veritekenterprises.com to see all the projects that we've done and what we're doing right now. And we decided that we wanted to start a brick and mortar business as a legacy to leave to our families and to help the community that we serve.
Yeah. Well, my question for asking about those experiences, before you did your IT, what else were you doing?
Oh, prior to IT, I was in school. I started in IT in 1988. I just got out of school, went into college at University of Maryland, and then went directly into IT work.
Okay, so you've been an entrepreneur in IT arena, and you're switching to
Yeah.
staffing and services.
We're doing both right now.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Now, are you a certified firm?
We're certified staffing firm, yes, and we're certified to do IT work as well.
Okay. When I say certified, are you MDOT certified?
No.
No, we're not
No,
MDOT
okay.
certified.
Oh, okay. All right, Mr. Skeeter, you've given me some insight into your background during that ribbon cutting ceremony last month. Can you share some information with our audience about what it is that you've done?
So we started my family and I have been entrepreneurs over 17 going on 18 years. We have 2 child care centers, one in Laurel and one in Bowie called Milestones Enrichment Center, which that was my daughter's vision.
Okay.
But we've employed over 30 people with that, and in both locations. And like I said, we've had that for going on 18 years now.
So you're
So
an
we're
owner,
really proud.
co-owner?
My wife and daughter are the owners,
Oh, okay.
and I just support them.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the best free service that they have. So, and like I said, they're in Laurel and down in DC. And from that experience, starting something from scratch is what led us to want to do a franchise. So when you do something from scratch, you have to come up with all the bright ideas. You have to come up with the advertising. You have to come up with how to employ people, how to keep them, all those kind of things. So when we approached the franchise, we wanted a proven system, something that is successful, and we wanted something that was cookie cutter, that we can just, when we have a question, we can call the answer hub and get an answer for it, versus having to do research and all the rest of the stuff that goes along with it when you start from scratch.
Right, but you said you did more than that. I mean, before, what else have you done?
So with for Milestones, we got that up and running. And
Right.
like I said, we've been for 18
Right.
years. Then we did Veritech Enterprises, and we
Okay.
were very successful with that.
Okay, so you're both in Veritech also?
Yes,
Yes.
we both.
Oh, okay, that's what I was trying to get a
Yeah, yeah, we
clarification
both,
on.
yeah, we are both. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and the good news about that one is we have a contract down with DC Superior Court.
Oh, okay.
And we're
What are you
able-
doing?
We're doing infrastructure. So they're replacing their old cable infrastructure with fiber infrastructure.
Okay.
And so we're doing that. But the big thing that drives us is to be able to employ people and treat people the way that we would like to be treated. One of the cornerstones of Milestones was we have 85% of the people that started with us 17, 18 years ago are still with us. The guys that we use down at that work for us for the courts, they love us. And we have an experience with Pridestaff that we'll turn it into a boutique staffing company, and I'm sure we'll get to talk
Okay.
about that later.
Well, Pridestaff, from my research, is a national staffing service and employment agency with offices on the East and West Coast and some places in between. Can you give us some background on Pridestaff and what prompted you both to partner to open this particular type of franchise, and then why Odenton?
Well, the reason we chose Odenton, we're very familiar with the area. We've been both working in this area, myself, for I'd say close to 25 years, and I'm not sure about,
Yeah, about the same.
about 25 years, 30 years each. And it was a community that we thought was underserved, and there was not the proper staffing environment to help young people get experience and get jobs.
Okay.
Yep, and Odenton as well has the military, and one of I'm ex-Army, so one of the things that drives me is to employ their skills and to translate what they do in the service into the commercial world. For example, a sergeant in the Army, if you just go to a commercial company and just talk about being a sergeant and running teams, that doesn't translate so well. But when I counsel some of the folks, we tell them that you're a manager. You're a manager. So let's talk about being a manager and how you manage people and all those kind of things, because that's what the commercial world wants to hear. And that helps them get employed. Our heart is to make that transition and that bridge from what they've done to what they want to do. And that's one of the things that drives us. The other part, of course, is we're a hands-on company. So when we interview folks or when we bring them in, one of the things that we do is if any kind of things that they need for counseling that will help them get promoted or get a job, that's what we're going to do. We spend a lot of time with them. We're hands-on. We talk to our folks all the time.
So why Pridestaff?
We chose Pridestaff. We're the first in Maryland, so that was the number one reason. We're Pridestaff, Maryland. There was no Pridestaff in Maryland before us.
Okay, where's the closest one in this area?
South is Richmond,
Right.
north is Delaware,
There's also one in Philadelphia.
and one in Philly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's the closest to us. There's a new one, a couple just bought another franchise that's going to be inside the Beltway, like Hyattsville and Northeast and Southeast DC, but they're going to open later this year.
So who made the decision to do Pridestaff?
Don and I
We went back and forth.
collectively we did it. We went through a process. We looked at 4 franchises and we chose Pridestaff based on the potential for growth, based on the territory size, and based on the fact that we'll be the first one in Maryland.
And also based on their track record, a lot of different franchises will give you data about what they've done and what they can do. What we did, we went back and we verified it. For example, we went to the franchise locations, and if they were up to par, we didn't accept it.
Right.
And you had prior connections with Pridestaff, because I know at the ceremony I met a gentleman who was there?
The vice president.
He was vice president?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes. Well, part of the support system that they put in place is for once we get up and running, that they send the vice president out who has, I don't know how many years experience Tom has, but many
Over
years of
30
experience
years.
that comes in and
Yeah.
helps us get through the opening process and just gives us guidance on how to be successful.
Wonderful.
They're really hands-on with their support.
Yeah, I could see he was very supportive at that event.
Mm-hmm.
And there are always blips and challenges when opening a new business office. What were some of the challenges that you faced starting this type of business in general and in Anne Arundel County in particular?
Branding.
Yeah.
The number one was the name recognition. So Pridestaff was never heard of before in Maryland.
It's not well known, no.
Right. So that's the biggest challenge, is just going. Everybody's familiar with other types of staffing companies in this area, but Pridestaff is just a new word. So just the branding part to let people know who we are and what we can do, what makes us different, those kind of things. When I go out on customer calls, we talk about what we do that's different from other staffing companies, and everybody has their own line. But our line is that we're a boutique. So I go and talk to business owners and find out exactly what they're looking for. Someone to fit into their culture, the types of experiences that they want them to have, and all those kind of things. So that we interview candidates, we make sure that they check all those boxes before we send them off. We don't just send 20 candidates. We go on some website and just pick 20 candidates and send to a company.
Right.
We don't do that. And everybody that, following this process, everybody that we've picked so far has been hired. And in one case, the person was offered a raise during the interview.
Yep.
Okay, you've only been open.
Right, like
When?
5 weeks.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
well, congratulations to
Thank
you.
you, thank you, thank you.
Now, that seems to be your biggest challenge, but Don, you have some other thoughts on some other challenges that you kind of anticipated?
I think that we fill the void by vetting our people differently than other staffing companies. We check people's backgrounds. We bring them in. We will interview them, thoroughly, and just try to find out not only what's best for the customer and the client, what's best for the candidate,
Right,
and see if there's a good match. If there's not a good match, if the candidate wants a certain level of salary and the client is willing to only pay a small amount, we don't match them up because it wouldn't be a good fit. But we will find something for everyone that comes in that office. We will, tutor people on their resume, on how to conduct an interview. If they come in a certain way, we will tell them, look, when you come in for an interview, this is how you should, approach it. This is how you should dress. This is how you should present your documentation. We try to, educate them as well as get them a job.
There's a lot of companies that do the background checking. Do you do your own, or do you contract with someone else to do that work for you?
we contracted.
Yeah.
Okay.
We contracted, and there's different levels of background checks. So there's a national background check and a local. So we contract that out.
Okay.
It's based on what the customer wants.
Some
Sometimes
customers, they don't want it sometimes.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
that's more often than not, believe it or not.
Okay. So you feel that your pricing is comparable to other agencies,
Yes,
or
most
better?
definitely. It's better.
I figured you said.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
It's most definitely better. And we'll work with them. The most important thing for us is to establish a relationship. We don't want to be a transactional company, and we really don't want that business. So someone who just calls and wants somebody for the day, we would rather just, we probably would recommend another company.
Yeah,
that
we're
you would
not
go for.
doing day labor. We want to
Right.
have long contracts for our candidates and clients.
Right.
Okay, when you say long, is that 6 months to a year, 18 months to 3 years?
6 months to a year.
Yeah.
And then, believe it or not, there are some companies, even in Anne Arundel County, that only hires temporaries, and they keep them on their books as temporaries, so they have extra long. But that's more the exception than the rule. But our goal is to get get our clients, get the candidates in, and hopefully get direct hire from that experience.
Well, most people, when they talk about challenges, there's always like the financial hurdles. But I think you two took a different approach, since you already have existing business.
Right.
You have current cash flow, so that seemed like,
Yeah.
One company does support the other to an extent. Yes.
Wow, that's excellent game planning.
yeah.
So we believe in multiple streams of income.
Always.
And that's what, even on the other side, when we talk to other folks about how to start a business and everything else, is to look at multiple streams of income. And I think that there's a difference between being an owner and being someone who trades a job for a job. So for example, you might see a plumber's truck that says Al's Plumbing, but Al's driving the truck. So that doesn't really count as a company to me because we're not employing people.
Right.
So that's one of the things we talk about is ownership and being strategic and things like that.
And when it comes to Anne Arundel County, were there any challenges like getting your permits, opening the office per se? Everything kind of went smoothly?
It was very easy.
Very easy,
It
actually.
was very easy.
That's
It was
good to
very
hear
easy.
because one of the issues we have here at the county, developers and other business people like to complain about the permitting process. So it's good to hear you guys say that.
No, we never had an issue, actually.
We had to, the only issue we had was to get one of the inspections, but it's just a
yes,
matter of getting the person to come out, and they were just busy.
Their timing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But they came, and after they came, we went straight through.
Oh,
It was very
wonderful.
easy. Yeah,
Wonderful.
we have everything. And it was, the permitting office was great. They worked with us and all that stuff. We had a good experience.
Oh, you're on the Anne Arundel County show, so I'm sure they'll appreciate that.
Yeah, we had a
Thank
good
you.
experience. We did have a good experience with them.
We did.
Yeah.
Good. The employment game seems to be opening up in this region after years of stagnation. In addition to the established firms that are here, there seems to be more staffing agencies opening up in the Baltimore, Washington area. Faced with this type of competition, what is your marketing strategy, not only for generating clients, but also recruiting staff? Don, you want to start out with that?
Yeah, we haven't, as of yet, had any problems recruiting staff. We use several job websites like Career Builder, Indeed, Snag a Job, and we get clients all the time. The challenge has been the expectations sometimes of both the candidates and the clients. The candidates, some of them have high expectations for salary when they have to have a realistic view of what the current economic climate is. As far as the clients, we've noticed that once they start using staffing, they're more likely to increase their usage because some of them are hesitant to use staffing. They're not sure of how it works, what it entails, the people and everything else because they've had maybe a bad experience with it. But when we come in and we talk to them about how Pridestaff works and how we vet our people and how we're going to match their skills up to what their needs are, they tend to be more receptive.
That's
What are
the
your
same.
thoughts on that?
When I speak to business owners, the thing is just to encourage them to give us a try. And like Don said, the people who have had experiences with staffing companies tend to want to continue to use them. There are some staffing companies that they've had bad experiences with, but my line to all those business owners is we're not that company, and to give us a try. And we just had an experience with a client that we have. Joanne, we have 4 folks working for them now, and they came and they just had a bad experience with staffing companies. And I said, give us a try. And we've increased the number of people that work for them now because of the good experiences that they've had, with our candidates.
Right.
So it's really worked out well. So in any business, your word is a quality that people will judge you by.
Right.
So what we say we do, we do. We've always done that.
So when you developed your marketing strategy, was that part of the franchisee requirement? I mean, what's their role as a franchisor?
They give us the strategy of what businesses to attack. So we go after 200 to 500 person companies.
Okay.
They give us the industries to look at, like light industrial, office help,
Warehouse, forklifting,
front office medical.
Right.
Those are the industries that we target. So they give us those things to go after. They also will give us a list of possible candidates for us to make calls with.
Possible candidates?
Candidates for companies.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
yes.
They also provide marketing materials and marketing strategies to go out and market the company.
Okay. Any other thoughts on your game plan? You have a 3-year plan,
Yes. So
a 1-year plan, a 3-year plan, a 5-year
Right.
plan?
So our 1-year plan is to get to a certain number of candidates and companies, and that's what we strive for every day. And then the 3-year plan is to become financially stable from the company in terms of how much money we're making. And then the 5-year plan is for expansion. So we want to expand. Like I said, Pridestaff is new to Maryland. So we want to explore other markets. There's nothing west of 95, like in Gaithersburg and those types of Columbia. So that's our 5-year plan, is to do expansion. Once we get everything up and running, and we've made these. Anne Arundel County is a county of relationships. It is. And once we establish ourselves and we're viable and people like what we're doing, that will take us to the next level and then to the next level.
I think part of the game with staffing is that you have connections to other staffing agencies. Is that happening with you guys yet?
No, we're not working with other financial agencies.
Staffing agencies.
I mean, staffing agencies. But the reason I said financial, after 5 years, we're thinking about going into the financial sector. Because Pridestaff has something called Pridestaff Financial, which deals with a lot of accounting.
Because in my network, I know women business owners who run staffing agencies, and they've told me part of their strategy is to do referrals between some of the agencies sometimes. It's just like real estate, and you split the commission 50-50, and that's for those who probably have a little bit more years in on a business like that. So I was just kind of
Yeah, we haven't made those connections yet, and maybe, down the road we will, but we just haven't made the connections yet.
What about your local workforce development agency? Have you done any interface with them?
Yes, so I've talked to AEDC, the Anne Arundel Economic Development Council. We have our jobs out on the Maryland websites.
Okay.
So they've been very, very helpful. The AEDC is very responsive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we get like instant turnaround when we ask them for things like for reports or to give us any kind of help. They've been really helpful.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah. I'm really pleased with that.
That's good. Well, businesses here in Anne Arundel County are closely connected to the educational system, the chambers of commerce, some of the major employers, and individual communities. What partnerships and connections have you developed thus far, and what type of jobs are currently available through Pridestaff? Don, you want to?
The jobs that are available right now are welding jobs, warehousing, medical receptionist, admin, and light industrial and labor jobs. We have those currently on our website right now.
Okay.
We've made partnerships with the Chamber of Commerce. They've been
Which
very
one?
The West. Well, they've combined now. So I think it's called the Mid County.
No, Central Maryland.
Central Maryland Chamber of Commerce. So we've joined that, and they've been very helpful. We've gone to a couple of their events, and they have something coming up, I think, on the 5th for a barbecue that we're going to attend.
Right, they did a ribbon cutting ceremony for
Okay,
you,
yes, right.
Yes,
Yeah,
did.
they were great. They've been very helpful, very supportive. And actually, some company out of state called them and asked them to recommend a staffing company, and they recommended us, and we were able to fill the order.
Oh, that's great.
Yes,
That's great. And
yes.
that's the way the chambers are supposed to work.
Yep, it worked
Very well.
perfectly.
Have you been to any of their multi-chamber breakfasts?
Not yet.
Not yet.
No, I think you'll enjoy that. There's anywhere from 100 to 200 people that show up. I think they do that every other month,
Okay.
in a really prime location. And they do a speed dating kind of
Okay.
interconnection where you get to meet lots of people.
Okay.
Lots of people.
Yeah. we're
And
looking
did you
forward
also
to it.
know there's an additional 6 chambers of commerce in Anne Arundel County?
I didn't know there were 6. I knew there were some, but I didn't know there were 6.
Yeah, we've got the North County, we've got the Greater Severna Park, Arnold, we've got the South County, and the Annapolis. It used to be Annapolis, Anne Arundel County, that kind of combined.
Okay.
West County combined with the Baltimore-Washington corridor, which is the one you're familiar with. And we also have a group here called the Entrepreneurs Exchange,
Oh, okay.
which is not so much as a chamber as it is a connector, an educational organization. They meet once a month
Okay.
in Annapolis.
Okay. I'll have to get
so-
more information about it. Too.
Yeah, they're very professional. You're not required to belong in like a chamber. You can just go to a monthly luncheon, or you could join.
Okay.
Sounds
It's
good.
been around for about 25 years.
Okay. Because our territory for Pridestaff is all of Anne Arundel County, from BWI down to Deal, east to the water, and west to 95.
Because I think the reason why I wanted you on the show today, because I think part of some of your branding issues. You just need that exposure.
Exactly.
Yeah, so we're glad to have you today.
Well, thank
Thank
you
you.
very, very
Thank
much.
you for
I
having
really
us.
enjoyed you.
And as we close out this segment, what recommendations of words of advice would you give someone interested in starting a business today based on some of your lessons learned?
Do your research. Not only just research the company, research the financials, do a historic research of how much is made with the company, and visit the companies. Go and do your due diligence and make sure that you not only check out the business, check out the employees and what type of people they hire, and look at the forecast for what's going to happen down the road with that type of company.
I think research is key. If you're interested in something, look into it, partner with a company, visit them often, be open that maybe your choice isn't the right choice and maybe move on, because sometimes I think people get stuck like, I want to do this one thing, and come hell or high water, they try to do that one thing, but that wasn't the one thing they were supposed to do. And the good news in the era that we live in is that there are no bad ideas. You just have to put the effort in, and you have to have set real expectations of what the results will be.
Now, we spent a lot of time talking about the business itself, and I think a lot of people who are starting businesses, they need some financial advice, and you guys are in pretty good shape financially, and I think that's why you kind of like didn't focus on it. Can you just talk a little bit about, particularly in a franchise situation, what you've got to have financially to get started?
Usually most franchises will give you what's called a FDD, a financial disclosure agreement.
Franchise.
Yeah, and with that, they will give you most of the time the financial breakdown of everything. My advice would be to examine the costs. Make sure you have the capital to invest. And possibly you may have to take out a loan, but I would recommend having some of your own resources, your own funds to bolster your company. Because in the end, in the beginning, you're not going to make money at all. But over time, when you build your business, you're going to make some money, but you need that foundation to help you along the way until you can get to that part where you're making the money.
And as far as the franchise concern, was your investment 250 plus, plus or minus 250? We just like to give our audience some kind of round about, let's say there's somebody sitting out there that's interested in doing something similar.
It depends on the franchise. Like if you're going to go open up a McDonald's or something, you're
Right.
going to be paying a hefty fee.
Right.
But it just depends on the type of franchise. For us, it was a nominal amount, but nothing outrageous. But you just have to examine what type of company you want, and you'll find out the fees, and you can basically address it accordingly. But it's going to take some investment on your part. It's going to take some sweat equity as well to get things going.
And so for Pridestaff, it was less than 50. It was in that range.
Okay.
The other thing to understand about franchising is that there are such things as starter franchises. So for example, if your goal is to have a Chick-fil-A, you're not going to start off with a Chick-fil-A if you've never owned a franchise before.
Right.
They want you to start off with something small and then grow to get used to being a franchise and all the processes and all the things that go along with it. And then once you're established and successful in that, then you can move to the next step. The other part is before you start anything is to get your personal finances. You want to have as low overhead as you can going in. You don't want to have like, $2,000 a month car note and all those kind of things and try to start a business. So the thing is, and that's the investment in yourself.
Right.
That's what I tell people, that you have to start maybe 2 years ahead of time, just getting your own personal finances straight, lower your overhead, pay off bills, no credit cards, all those kind of things, and then you can start.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the county has we have a small business development center, which some parts of the community know about and others don't. Because you're seasoned professionals, you probably didn't need a whole lot of counseling.
Right.
But we like to, when people come to me when they need assistance, I kind of move them, I do the initial interviews, but I move them towards the counseling that's available through our Small Business Development Center, which is housed in the Anne Arundel Economic Development Corporation. Have you had any interface with AAEDC?
Yes,
Okay.
as I mentioned before, they've done reports for us. We all went out and met with them one time,
Yeah, we did.
and just sat down and talked and explained what we were trying to do, and they helped us a lot. They were
Great.
very,
That's
very
right.
helpful.
Because
And-
we
and the-
all work very closely together.
Yeah, and the good news about them is that they give you, if I ask for something today, I'll probably have it by either tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. They're really responsive.
So what's your thoughts on minority business development? Is Pridestaff one of those agencies that could or could not, should or should not get certified by the state of Maryland? Are you going to move into that arena?
So far we haven't, and we haven't had a lot of time, to be honest with you, just to think about it,
Right,
just because we've been so busy. But that's something we probably will explore going down the road. We just haven't looked at it yet.
All right.
Yep.
Your final thoughts on anything you'd like to share with the community at large?
I would say if you're in the market for a new job or willing to explore new opportunities, give us a try. Go to www.pridestaff.com/Fort Meade Bowie and look at the jobs that we have to offer.
Could you give us your telephone number?
410-695-5250.
Say it again,
410-695-5250 is
because
the
there's
office.
lots of folks here, new jobs.
Yes, yes, and come on through.
Yeah.
The other, just one quick thing I just want to mention is that starting not next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after, we're going to have from 6 to 7:30. We're going to do our resume review, and we're going to do mock interviews. In our office, we have our conference room has a window, so candidates who have been having problems getting jobs, we're going to set them in, and we have people that have volunteered from IBM and from other agencies who own companies or people that do interviewing that'll come in and do mock interviews, and when we can, and then we'll judge them and grade them and tell them how they're doing and things that
How
they
they
make.
can improve their
Yeah, and
interviewing
how they can
skills.
make improvements.
So
And-
this is going to be in your office?
yes,
And when is that again?
not next Wednesday, the Wednesday after.
Wednesday after?
Yeah,
okay.
and just one more quick thing. Develop a professional email address. How many times are we getting email addresses that are just crazy on some of these resumes? So everyone should have the first name, first initial,
Give us
last
an
name.
example.
Of
Give-
a, oh,
of a-
no, we
give me-
can't.
Something crazy.
All this requires is your first name,
Last-
dot, and last
Right,
name
right.
at a Gmail or
gmail.com.
Hotmail. That's all you need.
Right.
And know that your employer is going to call you. So on your cell phone, please have a professional message and nothing that's a little outrageous.
Or music in the background, like
Or
here
music
at
in
the
the background.
Go-Go.
And also understand that your social media profiles are being reviewed. Employers will look at your Facebook, they'll look at your LinkedIn, they'll look at your Instagram, they'll look at your Twitter. Know that they're being viewed and clean them up accordingly, please.
Right. And I think younger people don't understand that till
Correct.
it's like too late.
Yeah.
But we're glad to have you in the community. And I'm sure we all will be talking again in the future.
Sure.
If you have any need for information from me, please feel free to give us a call.
Thank you
Thank
very,
you.
very much. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Thomas and Don, for your insights and recommendations. Stay tuned to Channel 98, Verizon 38, for the Minority Business Report, which airs daily. You can also watch us on YouTube. If you have any comments or suggestions regarding this edition of the Minority Business Report, please contact me at the Office of Central Services in Annapolis on 410-222-7620. We are here working for you. Peace and blessings. The following bids are available from the Anne Arundel County Purchasing Office.